let me explain something. When women say this stuff, it's seen as them blowing steam. Black women are allowed to say anything and everything, and it's never going to have the same kind of energy. This is why on my channel, I said, if black women start going after other black women, black men are not going to protect you, because black men have a chip that designates that they cannot go after black women, even if a black woman is harming another black woman. So verbally, this is why you traditionally, except post Kevin, never seen a lot of women really jump up there like that, because there's plenty of women that have come before you all that these chicks will literally gang up on a female and eviscerate them to the point of like insanity. There's a reason they are afraid of a lot of even though Chrissy and Paris and them have bigger channels than Cynthia, they will literally, and I'm not over there like that, so I know dudes that are, and they will say this stuff, and I've seen it. They will literally have streams in the middle of the night and get rid of those streams, because if they go up against Cynthia, even though she doesn't have the biggest subscribership, a lot of their audiences are around Cynthia. They are afraid of her. Like, you don't believe me? Look at Crystalline Carrison. Crystalline Carrison was pretty much one of the originators of the swirl movement. She got the mic removed from her because of that. Like, because of women like Cynthia. Like, and even though she had just as much credibility. So when you have women that try to play in the middle, this is why when you hear the mammy, I keep telling you, when a black woman calls another black woman a mammy, she is calling you an NIGGRER lover. And that's something that black men just cannot psychologically face. They just can't, because they see their mothers in these women, and that's something that's why it's so easy to come down on us, because the alternative is too painful. And if you don't believe me, look at how big Kevin grew, and look at, like, when Kevin talked about dating outside your race, look at how them dudes that called in sounded. Those are dudes of different ages. So black women is seen as they're blowing off steam, they're mad, they are entitled to say this, because ultimately black men have a guilt complex as a group that they deserve this, because black women are not in the position that they should be, because black men are so weak in that. Black men really believe this, and this is one of the primary things of our space is to get, look, I am not any kind of expert. I'm just a nigga talking, and I tell people to go to the proper people all the time. But this is one of the reasons why this space is needed, because the self-loathing that a lot of, shout out to Culture Clinician, by the way, because he is, the self-loathing, black men suffer from two things: a guilt complex that is very deep and, quite frankly, ingrained as a boy, and an ego complex that black women have learned how to take advantage of. But the guilt complex is why they let black, that's why they'll never have smoke for CG. In fact, a lot of dudes will defend that, even though the data shows that that's not true. And so it's crazy when you really look into it, but it's not about exposure. They know who she is. And like you said, there's other examples of women saying these things, and it never gets the same kind of heat. It just doesn't. Even in celebrity women, when they say certain things, if it was in the reverse, folks would be wilding out. But they're allowed.